Hey guys, today I am going to be doing a video where I talk about my Criterion Collection. I've gotten that question a lot over the years, and one of the reasons I've never really talked about it is because I don't really collect movies that much. You know, streaming and all that is kind of taken over. But back in the day, I did for a little bit, so I don't have a huge collection by any means, but I do have, you know, some good ones that I think are essentials. And what I love so much about Criterion is that yeah, they re-release a lot of these films, some of them very obscure. They're remastered and they have all of this extra information and great special features, introductions from, you know, great filmmakers and historians, if that's your thing, and of course, most importantly, the most beautiful artwork ever, cover art. I commend the designers because they're incredible. But anyway, without further ado, here are some of my Criterion movies that I have.
All right, so let's go with the first one. This is Onibaba. And this is a really cool movie. I didn't know anything about it, but I just saw the Criterion cover and thought, I don't know what this is, but I gotta watch it. And it turns out to be this really cool kind of paranormal Japanese folktale sort of thing. I absolutely love this film. I love the style of it. But again, Criterion, they know how to market. They know how to make their product look absolutely classy and awesome. If you haven't seen this one, you should check it out. It's got some special features. Nothing unbelievable or anything, but yeah, it's a good one. Oh, okay, this one. So I haven't seen this movie in a long time, Children of Paradise, but I did see it years ago and I thought it was fantastic. My old boss gave me this and I admit I have never seen it. I mean, I've seen the film, but I've never seen the Criterion version of it or any of the special features, but it seems to be pretty cool. It's got to be something I need to get to at some point. But I do remember really loving the film. Oh, of course. Here we are with La Strada by Federico Fellini. One of my favorite films of his in terms of just raw emotion. It's really devastating. Giulietta Messina, of course, being his muse and his wife. She's absolutely wonderful in the film. And I'll be honest, I haven't seen a lot of the special features. Well, actually, no, I have seen these. But, you know, it's such a good film. It's such a good film. And the score by Nino Rota is one of the great scores of all time. Yes, this is Beauty and the Beast. The French film from the 1940s. It is an extraordinary piece, visually extraordinary. When Beauty and the Beast came out, and I don't mean the 1991 version, I mean the one with Emma Watson, I thought about reviewing this at the time, making everyone think it was going to be the new one, but then it would actually be the original French film, just to be a troll. But I didn't. I ran out of time. But yeah, this is an extraordinary film. I know most people are a huge fan of the 90s one, and you know, that one's great, but yeah, this one's better. And the special effects in it are really interesting, and it's a very dark sort of tale. It's the original tale. Oh my God, M by Fritz Lang. This is an extraordinary piece of filmmaking. You know, after a movie like Metropolis, which was just so grand in style and all that, then comes this film, which is kind of highly political and very dark. And Peter Lorre is in it, and he gives one of the most astonishing performances in terms of just his face. He's got the most haunting, like baby face, but with like these real hollow, like almost like doll eyes. It's really powerful. What I love so much about this film is just the silence of it. It came out in 1931, I think. Yes, 1931. Around that time is when, you know, talking pictures were the thing. It was the gimmick to be like, look, they can talk, it's sound. So everybody was kind of, you know, using that maybe a little overboard, but not Fritz Lang. He loved silence and how powerful it can be. So a lot of this film is very quiet, and that's part of what builds the tension. I adore it. Ah, Wings of Desire. So this is another one that I have not seen in many years. I haven't seen it maybe in 12 years, but I remember being absolutely astonished by it, absolutely loving it. I believe my old boss got me this because she is really into film and was really into Criterion Collection, so she got this for me. So I can't wait to watch it at some point. Definitely a review, hopefully in the future. Oh dear. Virgin Spring, which is, of course, an Ingmar Bergman classic. It's not like Persona. It's not really experimental, or it's very straightforward. It's a really devastating but beautiful meditation on humanity, on life, on on morals, religion, all of those things that are so inherent. I got my mom to watch this with me recently, and I think she's kind of mad about it because she doesn't really like films that are like, really intense, have something really like a taboo subject like this at the center. And I feel like it traumatized her a little bit, so I'm sorry, Mom. But no, this is a great film. And I remember in the special features, it has a really good intro by Ang Lee, and he talks about how much this film inspired him. And I really enjoyed that, so yeah, check this one out. Fuck yes, The Third Man. One of the greatest, if not the greatest noir film ever by Carol Reed. And Joseph Cotten is in this. Alida Valli is wonderful. Orson Welles at his most charismatic, I think. He plays one of the most interesting villains ever in Hollywood movies. This is such a great film stylistically. It's real kind of off kilter. I love just the shadows and the angles that it's constantly using. Very visual, but also very sophisticated in terms of its storytelling. But yeah, I just love the look of this whole Criterion thing here. I mean, it does have an intro by Peter Bogdanovich, because everything has an intro with Peter Bogdanovich, especially when it is concerning Orson Welles. But yeah, no, I just love the look of this whole thing. I always love the looks. I love Criterion looks. Rosemary's Baby. This is a great, great film, of course, and I have the Blu-ray here, which is nice. I don't remember when I got this. It was probably Christmas or something like that. But yeah, I talk about Rosemary's Baby all the time. And I admit I haven't seen any of the special features on this particular version. I'm really bad at that, you guys. I really do not watch movies unless I am going to review them, and I've already reviewed this. So, I don't sit around and kind of explore the special features. I don't really have the time for that. But yeah, one of the greatest horror movies of all time. Certainly one of my favorites. This is great here. Really great. I love the kind of green feeling of it. The whole movie just has a gross feeling. The Red Shoes. This film is one of my all-time favorites. It's a film that really inspired me to want to review films. It inspired how much I love them. It influenced me very much in my own artistic aesthetic. It's Powell and Pressburger, the iconic duo, the Archers. I wasn't nuts. I know they've since, I think, come out with a new version of this, which I wish I had. The special features on this are okay. It's got a good commentary, for sure. I think Scorsese does the commentary, and Maura Scheer also does the commentary, which is really, really cool. Jack Cardiff and all that kind of stuff. So, it's got some good stuff. Stuff that I'm really glad they were able to record when they did, and I am totally indebted to Scorsese for restoring this film the way he did, because it really is a visual masterpiece and kind of an extraordinary film. So this is always one I highly recommend. I reviewed it a long time ago. Vampire. This is a film by Carl Dreyer. It's a very short film, though you wouldn't know it by looking at this big Criterion kind of box set here that they have. Yeah, it's got a really cool sort of thing here. You've got the screenplay, which I have read through a little bit. I mean, there's really very little dialogue. But this is another example, like Fritz Lang, where you have somebody who, everybody was going for sound, but Carl Dreyer was not about that. He was more about the images and the silence and that kind of haunting quality. So this movie has almost no dialogue. It's all in the imagery. Classic kind of silent film director and techniques, and that's what makes it so powerful, that it is so quiet. But this is a really interesting film. Again, super short, worth your time just for the mood of it. It really, it's haunting, haunting, haunting. The Lady Eve, I just watched this film starring the great Barbara Stanwyck, and then, of course, Henry Fonda. I haven't really seen a lot of the special features of this one either, but I did see a bit of the Peter Bogdanovich introduction. He's a smart dude. He knows his shit. But this is such a good film. This is one of my favorite romantic comedies of all time. It's extremely witty. It's very, very funny screwball. And Barbara Stanwyck was never sexier. Really, really, she's wonderful. Ace in the Hole. This is one of my favorite Billy Wilder films, and so I'm glad that I have it in this version. A really dark film about media sensationalism. But yeah, no, it's got everything just looks like a newspaper. A lot of cool shit. I think this is a really underrated film for Billy Wilder, and I do think it is maybe one of his most chilling. I talked about it recently in a topic video. Can't remember which one, but yeah, check it. Pandora's Box. This is a really unique film as well. It's a silent film, and it stars One of my favorite silent actresses, this is Louise Brooks. She is extraordinary. She has an extraordinary ability to be subtle and express so much. And I think that those are some of the great actors, especially of their time in the silent era. She just had a real simplicity to her. And, she could do so much with so little. And really, I think when you just look at her face, there's something so striking about it and very timeless. Like you look at pictures of her and, you'll see all these girls in the 1920s with their hair done and their makeup, and yet her face just sticks out as so timeless, so modern, like it could have, she could exist today just fine. But she is part of the huge allure that is this film. What I like about these Criterions especially, and especially this one, is you can choose your own soundtrack. And this one I remember gave you several choices that I thought were really cool. You could do kind of more modern, kind of postmodern music. You could do more kind of traditional classical. They had like cabaret music. So I've actually watched this film multiple ways, and I have my personal preferences of what I like, but I love that, they give you those options. Peeping Tom, this is another film by the great Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger, who also did The Red Shoes. And, so this is like a used version, as you can see, but this is a really cool horror film. It might be one of the great horror films, and I would love to review it at some time. But yeah, you've got like a Laura Mulvey audio essay here. She was a heavy influence, of course, in like the apparatus theory, but more in terms of how it dealt with femininity in film and like the virgin whore complex and such. So you get a lot of those like academic essays and things with Criterion, which is cool. And then last but not least, another Fellini film, Nights of Cabiria, also starring just Juliette de Messina, who's just extraordinary. This is one of my favorite performances ever. And this is one of those movies that every time I watch it, I bawl like a little baby. And I'm not a crier, but this film is just so powerful, so moving, yet it has all of those little cheeky, light, kind of surrealist artistic touches that would eventually make Fellini so famous. So definitely check this one out. And then I actually drew this picture years ago, and I have no idea what happened to it, but like the full version of her, because I loved it so much. I just love the image of her with the eyebrows and the cigarette and the umbrella. It's cool.
So yes, that's, I think, most of my Criterion films. I'm sure I'm missing some here and there, but the ones that I could gather together, like I said, not a ton, but I think some good ones, some essential ones. And if you have any recommendations, I would love to hear, because I'm always looking for new things and new cover art, because I guess I'm shallow and indulgent that way. But that is the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you look over here, you will see my Patreon supporters. You guys are amazing as always. The link to support that is below. Also, you can look at my website where I sell commissioned portraits and prints, things like that. I'm an artist. So feel free to contact me if you're interested. All my social media is below that. You can watch more videos here, and you can subscribe if you'd like. Catch you next time.